This timeline charts the scoring distribution across a single Champions League semifinal tie. Over 180 minutes, the ball found the back of the net 10 different times. Condensing that chaotic timeline down leaves a razor-thin final result. Paris Saint-Germain 6, Bayern Munich 5. For PSG manager Luis Enrique, reaching the final meant shaking off a persistent reputation. Paris has spent years trying to prove their expensive roster can consistently overpower Europe's established giants without collapsing under pressure. Standing in their way was Vincent Kompany and a Bayern Munich squad looking to erase the memory of their own recent, painful European exits. To advance, Paris Saint-Germain had to pass a grueling two-part test. They had to outpace Bayern in a completely unhinged attacking shootout, and then somehow pivot to surviving a 90-minute defensive siege. The first 90 minutes took place at the Parc des Princes, where the atmosphere demanded an immediate, aggressive approach. PSG launched forward immediately. Wingers Ousmane Dembélé and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia hit Bayern's defensive lines with pure pace, forcing the German side to backpedal to cover the space. Bayern refused to absorb the blows quietly. Whenever PSG pushed their fullbacks high up the pitch, Harry Kane and Michael Olise instantly countered, exploiting the gaps left behind. This tactical map shows why the goal count climbed rapidly. Look at these vector lines. Both teams completely bypassed the midfield. Every single mistake resulted in a clear shot on goal. That relentless exchange ended with a 5-4 victory for Paris Saint-Germain. Neither side managed to dictate possession or establish a rhythm. It was a test of raw attacking endurance, leaving PSG with a 1-goal advantage heading into the away leg. 6 days later, the scene shifted to Munich. Bayern was down a goal in front of their home crowd, dictating a completely different flow to the match. Bayern threw their entire attacking unit forward. They monopolized the ball, trapping PSG inside their own half for extended stretches of the game. Luis Enrique chose not to engage in a second shootout. He instructed his squad to abandon the high press, drop their lines, and absorb the contact. This split-screen comparison highlights the tactical pivot. On the left, you see PSG's high, aggressive defensive line from the first leg in Paris. On the right, their setup in Munich, a dense, incredibly compact shape sitting almost entirely inside their own penalty area. Then, against the run of play, Dembélé found a pocket of space early in the match. He broke through and scored, forcing Bayern into a 2-goal aggregate deficit. Harry Kane eventually broke through PSG's low block to secure a late equalizer for Bayern, but the Paris defense immediately reset. They maintained their narrow shape, cleared the crosses, and closed down the passing lanes. They absorbed the pressure without fracturing. Their ability to suffer through that away fixture secured the tie. The final whistle locked in a 1-1 draw in Munich, allowing PSG to eliminate Bayern 6-5 on aggregate. The result moves them directly into the Champions League final, pushing them closer to the one trophy the organization desires most. Over these two matches, PSG showed a level of tactical flexibility they have historically lacked. They relied on a rigid defensive structure just as heavily as they relied on individual brilliance. Winning in Europe requires the ability to outgun opponents when the game breaks open, and the discipline to survive when the opponent takes control. Paris Saint-Germain proved they finally have